Very good evening to you. Thank you so very much, everyone, for joining us here on Big Talk. We are Mofwebe in for my colleague Ubango Soro, who is on the field tonight for us. It's a big weekend starting this Friday already with the All Progressives Congress, APC, the ruling party in Nigeria, are now saying that, look, there's no better time to take a second look at our leadership within our party, reposition our party to be able to provide leadership in a way that is more effective and efficient for the Nigerian people, particularly in light of the renewed hope agenda, which is being championed by the President Tinubu-led administration. Earlier today, Global Television had taken out time to bring you some highlights of preparations in that regard. And we've also spent the bulk of the week highlighting some of the changes that are now being made in terms of preparations for this, epoch-making event, as many of the party's members would like to call it. A couple of things are spectacular about this National Elective Convention. First of all, the APC has made clear that it has adopted the consensus method in choosing its leaders, which again is enshrined very clearly in the Electoral Act 2026, which, of course, the president signed into law just a while back. So for many people, on the one hand, this is the APC redefining, or if you like, reinventing itself. For others, it is just a way of saying, look, we already know who and who will be leading us going forward. So let's come together tonight, reconnect, and celebrate ahead of what we hope will be an electoral victory for us in 2027. But then again, the APC, we are hearing, we also take our time to listen to a guest lecturer who will talk about the party's challenges, successes, and prospects, while also highlighting, by all means, the opposition side of things. But then, beyond the renewable agenda, we understand that President Bola Tinubu is leaving nothing, absolutely nothing to chance, as it has to do with his ambition to stand for re-election in 2027. Questions have arisen as to whether or not the APC will have other people vying for this position. Others say, well, given that many blocks within the party, including perhaps the most recent, the North Central zone of the APC, adopting the president as their sole candidate, chances are no one else will be quote-unquote allowed to throw their hat in the ring in 2027 as far as the presidential election is concerned. But then the PDP too is following suit, because this weekend, running into Sunday, the PDP, once the ruling party for 16 years, will also have its own convention. Now, that's perhaps a story for another day, has its own challenges within its own fold, because you have a party that has been, for want of better words, balkanized now, because you have the Nyesom Wike-led faction, and then you have the Seyi Makinde faction, or the one people would say, well, is the Turaki-led faction. But again, whatever nomenclature you decide to assign to these factions, what ultimately is concerning about the state of the PDP right now, given its own internal wrangling, is that that party, once the frontline opposition party, is fast becoming a shadow of itself. And they also say they love the party enough not to budge, not to defect, and saying, look, whatever it costs, we're here to ensure that the PDP succeeds on the one hand, and second, to also ensure the party makes it to the ballot in 2027. So it's very safe to say it's going to be a long walk to freedom for the People's Democratic Party. We're taking a break tonight, and shortly we will bring you the rest of Big Talk.
Politics decides our economy. Politics shapes our security. Politics defines our future. But who is asking the hard question?
Is intimidating governors to our opposition, and some allegations even say monies are offered to the tune of billions of naira to these governors to come to the APC.
On Big Talk, we take politics beyond party lines and press statements. We interrogate policies, challenge power,
and it shall be addressed.
and demand accountability from those who govern, from the presidency to the National Assembly, from state governments to grassroots politics. We break down the decisions that affect your daily life. No propaganda, no political comfort zone, just facts, context, and fearless conversations. Big Talk is where leaders explain, analysts dissect, and the people understand.
2015 elections were not held. They are doing rigging.
Don't just watch politics, question it. Tune in to Big Talk on Global Television every weekday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Join the conversation. Politics decides our economy. Politics shapes our security. Politics defines our future. But who is asking the hard question?
Is intimidating governors to our opposition, and some allegations even say monies are offered to the tune of billions of naira to these governors to come to the APC.
On Big Talk, we take politics beyond party lines and press statements. We interrogate policies, challenge power,
and it shall be addressed,
and demand accountability from those who govern, from the presidency to the National Assembly, from state governments to grassroots politics. We break down the decisions that affect your daily life. No propaganda, no political comfort zone, just facts, context, and fearless conversations. Big Talk is where leaders explain, analysts dissect, and the people understand.
2015 elections were not held. They are doing rigging.
Don't just watch politics, question it. Tune in to Big Talk on Global Television every weekday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Join the conversation.
Thank you for staying with us, everyone. We're prepping to join Uban Unsoro, who is right at the Eagle Square tonight to bring us up to speed as to what exactly the APC is up to in light of its national elective convention tonight. But let's quickly bring you some development happening in Kano State right now. Some unconfirmed reports, unconfirmed because Global Television has not independently verified the story that the Deputy Governor of Kano State has resigned. Of course, before now we had understood that there had been some sort of strain in the relationship between him and his principal, the governor of the state, Abba Kabir Yusuf, who until recently had been a member of the New Nigeria People's Party, the NNPP. But as it stands today, the gentleman had decamped to the APC, leaving his deputy, as it were, to hang out in the cold, politically speaking. And there had also been an impeachment process that got initiated a while back, but in the middle of all that, the deputy governor had taken steps, legal steps that is, to stop this impeachment move, but the court denied that request. And of course, a deputy governor perhaps seeing the handwriting on the wall and knowing that this is something that he already lost before the game got started, decided to resign for his personal dignity and honor. But all of these are pointers to some of the, if you like, intrigues we'll be seeing going into 2027, and they also are indicative of the fact that while the APC is consolidating on a daily basis, the opposition is also making efforts to ensure that it continues to ramp up its chances of unseating the APC-led government in 2027. So on both sides, it's intense, it's strategic, it's of course very deliberate as well. So we keep our fingers crossed, keep our eyes and ears on the ground to see how these ultimately will turn out. But these weekends, two big events in Abuja, of course, these are at the national level for the All Progressives Congress, and then of course the People's Democratic Party. The APC is clear as to its own path to 2027, and before that, its leadership structure, the president being the leader of the party on disputable slope, and then of course you have the other members of the executive, including of course the chairman of the party, talking about Professor Yewada. But all of that aside, it's also very instructive to mention that the APC has not failed, at least on some level, on some platforms, to clearly state that there are individuals within the party, some of them even support groups, who feel very disgruntled, and some senior members say validly and genuinely so, because they have not been in some way or the other compensated for the work they had done for candidate Tinubu, as it then was, now the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and indeed the APC itself. So almost 3 years down the line, they feel sidelined, they feel undermined, they feel betrayed. And for those loyal, as it were, organic, day one members of the APC, there is a concern that this could rub off very negatively on the party's fortunes going into the election. How valid or otherwise that is left to be seen. But one thing is clear, like we have also asked some of our guests on the program here, what exactly will life be like, politically speaking, after this convention? Will it be the same APC we saw going into the convention, becoming stronger politically as a unified front? Or is it going to be an entirely different political entity that would have lost very key members in ways that are very significant after these conventions? So these are some of the concerns that members of the party are having, because we had heard some very disgruntled commentary even before the Congress started, how that there were those who felt, as it were, pushed aside, shoved aside, and these people say, well, we are the founding members of not just the APC, but the AC. So how do we have those who have come from other parties, whether the PDP or anywhere else, to unseat us in the name of bringing political value or some sort of clout? So these are some of the concerns that we are going to be addressing as we make our progress on the show tonight. So let's keep our fingers crossed and continue to stay tuned as we follow these developments for you here on Big Talk on Global Television. Let's take a quick break now and see how quickly we can connect with Ubon Usoro on the program.
Politics decides our economy. Politics shapes our security. Politics defines our future. But who is asking the hard question?
Is intimidating governors to our opposition, and some allegations even saying monies are offered to the tune of billions of naira to these governors to come to the APC.
On Big Talk, we take politics beyond party lines and press statements. We interrogate policies, challenge power,
and it shall be addressed.
and demand accountability from those who govern, from the presidency to the National Assembly, from state governments to grassroots politics. We break down the decisions that affect your daily life. No propaganda, no political comfort zone, just facts, context, and fearless conversations. Big Talk is where leaders explain, analysts dissect, and the people understand.
2015 elections were not held. They are doing rigging.
Don't just watch politics, question it. Tune in to Big Talk on Global Television every weekday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Join the conversation.
Work and reside in Abuja precisely. Currently, as we speak, we are at the venue of the 2026 National APC Convention, which is currently holding at Eagle Square in the Capital Territory. I want to tell you that if you look around, you can see it's a very, very massive turnout. We have people wearing red that came from Kano. We have people wearing blue that came from Yobe. We have people wearing this cap that came from Ondo State also. This is actually my boss who is contesting for the 2026 governorship election of this state. So I want to also say that it's very ironical when people say we do not want the APC, but I do not expect this turnout because this is really, really massive. This is a really, really massive turnout. Going to the beginning of the road, back to this place we're standing, and to the other side, the crowd is more. So that's to tell you that the party is loved, the people in the party are loved, and Nigerians love the party. So what should we expect? We should be expecting a very, very successful convention. I had a few conversations earlier on with some key members of the House of Reps alongside some senators, and their energy is very high to have very, very peaceful and well-conducted congress today. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
The course of the program tonight, but first off, we'll let you know that it's a big of activity here in Abuja on account of what exactly the APC is doing with this national convention. So it's an acid test of some kind for the ruling party, because before now there have been questions around the acceptability or otherwise of the party. But now we hear that it's going to be jam-packed beyond the venue. There will be overflow and so on and so forth. But let's see. Uban Gusoro, we understand, is with us now. Uban, kindly confirm you can hear us loud and clear. Right.
Yeah, thank you so much.
What the development is like on the ground right there?
It's getting interesting because the number of persons that are here are more than what a lot of persons expected. There are very many persons here. You can see the red cap people, hundreds of people, and they say that from Kano. Dignitaries that are still coming in. Let me show you a video of what is happening right now. Dignitaries are coming in, and you see most of them, assurance and the rest of us actually welcome them. This is the people of the Nigerian army. We have a Nigerian defense corps that are here. Earlier, I spoke to somebody who I had spoken to somebody who is from Ogun State and who came for the convention, and he mentioned that he's so excited. So the excitement is building. Security is pretty tough. Maybe by the next time you speak to us, I'll be inside the convention arena or so, but I'm still at the periphery of the convention arena. Just in Abuja, and it's heating up. A lot of expectation. APC hopefuls are happy. The vehicles are still bringing them. Let me show you the view once again. So, you can see coming alone, and see their supporters, see their fans, see coming at wear their uniforms, and they are making their ways now, and people are still coming. So already the roads are filled, and you could imagine how many persons will get here at the end of the day. So it's a very, very interesting occasion for democracy, for our country, and for the All Progressive Congress, the ruling party in Nigeria at the time.
Interesting to know, but like you mentioned, you're going to help us track all of these late into the night. We appreciate you. We'll rejoin Ubong as we make progress tonight, but let's just highlight a few clips for you to accentuate what the atmosphere has been like there the most part of today at the Eagle Square venue of the event. And of course, we had seen preparations since yesterday, the APC, as it were, branding the whole place with its own presence. So tonight, things are not only going to get lit up, but they'll be charged up. But again, this is the APC, amongst other things, putting itself in the spotlight for Nigerians to take another look and assess the ruling party. Because by tonight, it would have been virtually 3 years since the Tinubu-led administration has come into power. We spoke with Aaron Abraham earlier today on Global Morning, and one of the things he did highlight is that this is not just a convention to pick, or if you like, handpick leaders. It's also an opportunity for the APC to strengthen its leadership framework to be able to continually provide forward-looking leadership for the country, especially on the basis of the renewed agenda of the president. So let's see how it goes tonight. We're seeing members of the party across different blocks, across different support groups, also taking our time to canvass and, of course, campaign for their favorite candidates across the zones, and of course, including at the national level. So we'll play you just a clip now around the central mosque, the national mosque, I should say, where you have delegates, you have members of the party from all across the country converging Abuja, and this has also occasioned very tight, gruesome sort of, if you like, grueling gridlock across the city, especially starting from this morning. So it's only natural that we're going to have this kind of situation in Nigeria's capital, especially within the central area into Maitama inclusive. But again, it's just a fleeting moment. But what does matter is how the APC will emerge as a political party from this convention, what will happen to its leadership going forward. And of course, the decision this will also occasion on the part of members who feel, well, maybe it's another opportunity to take a second look at our membership of the party, and those who also say that there are very, very serious issues, some anomalies going on in the party that President Bola Tinubu may not be aware of, and as such, maybe this is a chance for them to articulate those issues and put them right in front of not just the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, but the leader of the All Progressives Congress. You look at APC today, it has apparently the largest repository, so to say, of support groups. What exactly are those support groups bringing to these events? How do they influence going forward the decision that will be taken by the national leadership of the party? Will the APC come out of this stronger, better, more focused, or is it going to be such that some people will see this as an avenue to not only air their grievances but make a decision that is, as it were, very definitive in terms of how they want their political careers to go going forward? So these are some of the issues that this convention, we understand APC members believe, must address by all means. The APC is focused on 2027. We also know, for example, that the president himself is not taking chances going into that election, knowing that all hands must be on deck, no loose ends, all T's must be crossed and I's are dotted. When we return from this break, we also take a look at the history, the very recent history of how governors, one at a time, today 31, 32 of them, depending on who is counting and how you're counting, have moved from the PDP and a few other parties into the ruling All Progressives Congress. Please do stay with us.
Politics decides our economy. Politics shapes our security. Politics defines our future. But who is asking the hard question?
Is intimidating governors to our opposition, and some allegations even say monies are offered to the tune of billions of naira to these governors to come to the APC.
On Big Talk, we take politics beyond party lines and press statements. We interrogate policies, challenge power,
and it shall be addressed.
And demand accountability from those who govern, from the presidency to the National Assembly, from state governments to grassroots politics. We break down the decisions that affect your daily life. No propaganda, no political comfort zone, just facts, context, and fearless conversations. Big Talk is where leaders explain, analysts dissect, and the people understand.
2015 elections were not held. They are doing rigging.
Don't just watch politics, question it. Tune in to Big Talk on Global Television every weekday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Join the conversation.
All right, let's, before we join Obong, again, take some time to look at a couple of governors who have moved from their various parties to join the APC recently. Since they returned to this Fourth Republic in 1999, political analysts say that, look, never have we had this number of governors move within this short period into the ruling party. Now, one thing at least virtually all of these governors have in common is that they say they are moving from whatever party they had been into the APC so they can connect their respective states to the center being, of course, the federal centers, where again, apparently the APC is leading or ruling. First of all, we saw some of these governors starting from the southwest who had moved. I should say, by the way, the southwest. Say, for example, starting from Bayelsa, Governor Didi. If you look at Delta, people say, look, Bayelsa is a PDP state by DNA inside out, but that dynamic had flipped now because Governor Odoyo Diri of Bayelsa State has moved to the APC. And the thing about governors is once they move, they go with their clout, they go with their base, they go with their supporters, they go with their structures, as politicians call them. So as it stands today, Bayelsa is officially an APC state. Of course, as we have also seen time and again, when a governor moves, there's a question of will his number two, the deputy, move with him. It's a very delicate position to be in as a deputy governor, especially in a country where such persons or such roles are referred to as spare tire. We have seen cases where such deputy governors decided to resign, leave office. Not very many of such instances, but one or two have happened since 1999. We have seen some who got embarrassed, who got harassed out of office, for example. We've also seen those who ended up in courts. Those states comes to mind in the case of Philip Shaibu, for instance. So, of course, a case that was later overturned in courts. That was for Bayelsa. Then you move to Enugu, where you have Governor Peter Umba, for example. What happened with him? He moved from the PDP. I mean, that was the only governor in the southeast, across all 5 states, from Ebonyi all the way to Anambra. He left the PDP. A man who days before had been a committee chairman in the PDP, he left the party and he said, look, we've got to move this state forward. We've got to connect to development. And one way to do that is to align with the APC by way of membership. Of course, as we say, the governor is the chief security officer in the state. The governor is also the leader of the party in the state. So he moved, and today the rest is history. He is a member of the APC. And Kano, some people say, was the grand finale. I mean, these had been an NNPP state under the leadership of Governor Kabir Abba Yusuf. But today, all of that has changed. Not only has the governor moved, we are hearing now from unconfirmed sources that just today, his deputy has resigned from office following attempts to, as it were, get him to, to impeach him. We know, for instance, that he had gone to court to challenge the impeachment process. That failed because court ruled that that process should continue. That was a court order. But if, with a big if, he has resigned, some people will argue that he has done the needful, he has done something honorable for not just himself, but for posterity. But again, that in itself has its own challenge, because the estranged political godfather of the governor, talking about engineer Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, is the least happy with that move. He says, look, if we were to rate or rank instances of betrayal, what has been done by Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf will be the betrayal of the year. But all of that doesn't seem to hold much effect now, because the deed has been done. Today it's now a question of, will Kwankwaso move to align with the ADC, which happens, by the way, by all counts, be the leading opposition party, or will he somehow find a way to align or at least work with the leadership of the APC, with the president, Bola Tinubu, in charge? Those are some of the options we're looking at. Of course, Taraba, again, another state that before now had been traditionally a PDP state, has also moved, talking about Governor Kefas Agbo in Taraba State. He has moved. It's now an APC state that we have right there in Taraba, which is, of course, part of the northeast of the country. So the northeast is, quite frankly, altogether an APC, if you like, zone or region right now. So the move by the governor of Taraba State, talking about Kefas Agbo, has changed the dynamic within the southeast region as far as Nigerian politics is concerned, again, as it has to do with 2027. And then you come to a place like Plateau, which also had been at some point or for a very long time a PDP state, starting since 1999. Today, it's an APC state as well. So we've seen all of these governors move. On the one hand, why they moved, many APC members said, look, this is a blessing for us because politics is about numbers, all right? But today, we know those who are also becoming very concerned, thinking that these governors and their followers, those that came with them from their respective parties, would likely unseat them. And if that happens, it means their place in the APC would have been lost. And for the ruling party, those who have worked for it over time, even when things look very bleak, the last thing they want is to lose their support. But we'll continue to follow this development for you. Let's take a break now. The rest of Big Talk continues shortly.
Politics decides our economy. Politics shapes our security. Politics defines our future. But who is asking the hard question?
Is intimidating governors to our opposition, and some allegations even say monies are offered to the tune of billions of naira to these governors to come to the APC.
On Big Talk, we take politics beyond party lines and press statements. We interrogate policies, challenge power,
and it shall be addressed,
and demand accountability from those who govern, from the presidency to the National Assembly, from state governments to grassroots politics. We break down the decisions that affect your daily life. No propaganda, no political comfort zone, just facts, context, and fearless conversations. Big Talk is where leaders explain, analysts dissect, and the people understand.
2015 elections were not held. They are doing rigging.
Don't just watch politics, question it. Tune in to Big Talk on Global Television every weekday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Join the conversation. Politics decides our economy. Politics shapes our security. Politics defines our future. But who is asking the hard question?
Is intimidating governors to our opposition, and some allegations even say monies are offered to the tune of billions of naira to these governors to come to the APC.
On Big Talk, we take politics beyond party lines and press statements. We interrogate policies, challenge power,
and it shall be addressed,
and demand accountability from those who govern, from the presidency to the National Assembly, from state governments to grassroots politics. We break down the decisions that affect your daily life. No propaganda, no political comfort zone, just facts, context, and fearless conversations. Big Talk is where leaders explain, analysts dissect, and the people understand.
2015 elections were not held. They are doing rigging.
Don't just watch politics, question it. Tune in to Big Talk on Global Television every weekday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Join the conversation. Politics decides our economy. Politics shapes our security. Politics defines our future. But who is asking the hard question?
Is intimidating governors to our opposition, and some allegations even say monies are offered to the tune of billions of naira to these governors to come to the APC.
On Big Talk, we take politics beyond party lines and press statements. We interrogate policies, challenge power,
and it shall be addressed,
and demand accountability from those who govern, from the presidency to the National Assembly, from state governments to grassroots politics. We break down the decisions that affect your daily life. No propaganda, no political comfort zone, just facts, context, and fearless conversations. Big Talk is where leaders explain, analysts dissect, and the people understand.
2015 elections were not held. They are doing rigging.
Don't just watch politics, question it. Tune in to Big Talk on Global Television every weekday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Join the conversation.
You can even show it for 12.
can even show it for 12. Okay. You don't follow him though?
Yes, I don't follow him though. When I say get political program, say okay, waste my time, my energy, everything, come from way to Nasarawa. There is life here. So I love him. I'm really care for him because I want you to 4+4.
Right.
Yeah, so that 4+4 Tinubu carry Nigeria vote.
Thank you.
Nasarawa, Sewa Dada, by God's grace, we are praying for them. So let them win this election 2007 by God's grace. So we are praying for them, pray for Nigeria, pray for Nasarawa successfully.
Thank you, man. Hi, well done.
Right, just before we're able to perhaps rejoin Obang Usoro tonight for the last time, we can now authoritatively confirm that Comrade Aminu Abdul Salam, Deputy Governor of Kano State, has resigned. This is according to a statement put out by the spokesperson for the Kwankwasia movement, Dr. Habibu in Kano, stating very clearly that the Deputy Governor, as it stands right now, former Deputy Governor, had taken a very tough decision to resign, first in the interest of the people, and then second for stability of leadership in the state. The statement goes further to say that, look, the governor didn't do this because he's guilty. In other words, the resignation is not an indication of being guilty, but to ensure that he doesn't become, or these allegations themselves do not become a clog in the in the will of progress, which also means that the deputy governor realizes that this is a bit of a deadlock situation. But as it stands today, that position has effectively become vacant. So in the days ahead, perhaps this weekend, we will begin to have some idea as to who becomes the next deputy governor of the state. As they say, life does not allow for a vacuum. But the situation politically in Kano is becoming a bit more tense than had before now been envisaged. Okay, so let's return to Abuja, where we understand that tear gas canisters are being shot at this point in time around the Eagle Square. For what reason, we cannot categorically say, but we are learning that so much is happening on the ground right there tonight. Hopefully, it's not a process on some level, in some aspects, that has been hijacked by, if you like, criminal elements. We had seen very formidable security presence on the ground earlier today. Hopefully, that continues into the night and even becomes beefed up because obviously this is a point at which hundreds of thousands, or at least tens of thousands of people will be converging into tomorrow. So it's important that security becomes front and center for consideration at this point in time. But again, in all of this, one thing stands out tonight. The APC has put its hands on the plow now, so it is not the best time to look back, because the party says we need to rethink our leadership, and as such, one of the things we'll be doing tonight is to ensure that we pick those who will lead us going into the future. But interestingly, we are beginning to understand that the bulk of the people who will be, as it were, selected tonight, or who will emerge as winners, are those who have also been in the saddle in those same exact roles before now. So not much has changed or will change going forward. But Nigerians look forward to how this will not only redefine or define the APC, but shape governance as is being provided by the party under the leadership of President Bola Tinubu. Then, of course, this will also form talking points in the next couple of days, because the outcome, or if you will, outcomes of these convention will be so much to talk about, especially for the APC that is in the spotlight for many reasons. There have been concerns as to whether or not the party has led well so far, whether or not the party stands a chance of return to Aso Rock. First of all, this is a party, Nigerians say, removed a fuel subsidy right from day one on the 29th of May 2023, and that singular but radical decision or pronouncement has eternally changed the economic, or better put, socio-economic standing of Nigerians, and indeed the economy forever. But we've seen members of the party, including the president himself, come out to say, look, as tough as that decision may be, it is not as bad as Nigerians want to make it look, because they say, look, you've got to, first of all, scratch your skin to find comfort. So for the APC, it was a painful but necessary move to ensure that the economy is not only better positioned, but that Nigerians continue to put their money where their mouth is. And one of the ways they explain that is to say, following the suspension of fuel subsidy payments, more monies are now going into the subnationals, the states and the local governments, by way of monthly allocations, the one we call FARC. So the APC is also using that medium to say, look, we can't continue to come cap in hand to Abuja for every single need that Nigerians have. Go back to your state governments, of course, by extension, your governors. Go back to your local governments, and that also means your local government chairman, to demand dividends of democracy. There's nowhere it is written in the Constitution or in any of the extant laws that it is the federal government or the president that must meet all the social, economic needs of citizens. So go back to the grassroots. That's the point. And speaking of grassroots, we've also seen, for example, how there had been a landmark judgment by the Supreme Court coming from August of last year, of 2024, actually, to ensure that development is driven to the grassroots. But that in itself has seen its perhaps more than fair share of controversies, because not every governor, as it stands today, can categorically say that they've been able to extricate local government leadership across their states from their own apron strings. And that's the idea, that's the spirit behind that landmark judgment by the Supreme Court to say that, look, no more should governors call the shot for local government chairmen as to how they lead their respective local governments. In other words, local governments must be able to do their work as cut out for them in the Constitution as the third tier, all right, of government. But we look forward to seeing how that will happen. And President Bola Tinubu has said very unequivocally that, look, if governors continue to be, for want of better words, be recalcitrant in terms of allowing these local governments be, the federal government may be left with no other option than just ensure that it sends money straight to the local governments. But the question is, does the law allow that happen? Or are we going to take a second look at the law, go back to Parliament and see how we can, as it were, review the laws and adjust for the realities that we are dealing with today? So the APC has many questions to answer today, tomorrow, and the day after that. And we hope that this convention that is going on this weekend will better reposition, or if you like, better equip the party to continue to understand what Nigerians are dealing with and find that courage, put on its thinking cap to provide the necessary critical leadership in that direction. Like I mentioned at the top of the program tonight, it's going to be a long night for the All Progressives Congress. Nigerians are watching, and indeed the world is watching to see what critical decisions will be taken by the party this weekend and how those decisions will be of benefit to citizens going forward. Let's continue to follow this conversation for you tonight. But at this point, we'd like to say a big thank you to all of our viewers who have joined us here on Big Talk. We do not take your time with us for granted. And we'd like to sincerely also appreciate Ubangu Soro, our political correspondent, who has taken the time, gone to the pen to ensure that we understand what's going on the ground right there. This coverage will continue here on Global Television. On behalf of my team in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, I'm Iyaag Mofogbe saying thank you for watching, and I will see you again